midnight tonight, you're going to be paying well over 26 Rand for a litre of petrol. 93 octane petrol is going to cost you 2 Rand 37 cents more, while 95 octane is going up by 2 Rand 57 cents a litre. Now, the ripple effect will not only impact motorists, but the cost of goods will also rise across the board. eNCA reporter Nqobile Madlala this hour finds herself in Edenvale in Ekurhuleni. She's been up and about in Johannesburg and the surrounds this morning, just checking how people are anticipating this huge, steep rise in the price of fuel. Good afternoon, Nqobile. What can you tell us this hour? What have you been finding out?
Well, but Dan, we've been to 3 garages just now, and we understand that in all those garages, they're saying that what they've seen is an influx of motor vehicles that are coming in to fill up. So clearly people are understanding that this 2 Rand is going to be way more on the pocket, and so they're trying to get as much fuel as possible at this point, and they'll have to deal with that increase much later on. But earlier on we went to Tshwane, and when we were in Tshwane we spoke to some of the passengers that are using public transport, mainly taxis, and they were saying to us that they travel in between work and their home. They spend about 100 Rand per day, and that was something that was very important to them, that the taxi fare does not go up anymore. But they're saying that with the fuel prices, this means that they have to take out of the small amount of money that is now left. They're speaking about things like salaries, that salaries are shrinking because they are spending so much on the road. We even spoke to some of the drivers, and they were saying also that they're worried about their passengers. Some of them are even doing long distance driving, and that becomes very expensive. Santako themselves, Britan, were telling us that they're looking at just increasing by 10 Rand, even though they're now feeling that they are going to be making a loss. And they were talking about the fact that they're worried about the fact that their passengers are now going to feel this not only on the taxis, but they are also going to feel it when they are at home. They were talking about the food basket, how it's going to increase because of what is happening, and that they are also worried about their own passengers because now they feel like they're taking so much. But they did say, Dan, to us that they are in talks with the government, that they're even looking at things like subsidies where they could potentially help the industry, so to ensure that the consumers on the ground and South Africans don't have to pay so much, that the government can also add a little bit into their pockets, and that way it can help them. But all around, Britain, it's very clear that people are feeling the impact of fuel, and they're worried about this 2 Rand jump. We spoke to Outer, and Outer said the government needs to do an introspection. They're saying that the government needs to look at the tax that people are paying. They're saying that they need to look at things like RAF, how they can lessen the blow in terms of this fuel hikes. But they're very clear, and having fought for those levies to go down, they're very clear that these levies are a lot to deal with, and this is a lot that they're paying for. Interestingly, one of the drivers of a tow truck said to us they're worried about the fact that they are always on the road. He says he spends about 4,000 Rand on petrol, and this is now before the 2 Rand jump. He says he's worried about the impacts this is going to have on his business as well, because the more he spends, the less he gets, and the economic climate at this point is not right. And he's saying that he's worried about the petrol, he's worried about the food, he's worried about the cost of living, and in all, he's just worried in general about his business as well. So there's a lot that people have said, Britain, but it's quite clear that the fuel hikes is something that they were not hoping for, or rather they were hoping that the government will just slash it a little bit, because they have so much that they're dealing with, especially when it comes to the food expense.
Thank you very much, Nqobile Madlala, just giving us a sense of what people are saying on the ground. She's currently in Edenvale in Ekurhuleni.